are so privileged to have two incredible leaders here today talking about a subject of really great importance and also a subject that's kind of intimidating. Talking about finances and investing. Incredibly important. I know, Kelly.
Things we don't like to talk about, money.
Exactly. Well, we don't know how. So, Kelly, I know that this is a subject of great importance to you. Why is this subject of such great interest and importance?
Okay, but I'm going to scare you first because I asked you something on the way up here, and you were like, no, what happened? So I want to just thank AppNexus for hosting this today, and this is a rather historic day. So if you're not on Twitter like Amy Vernon and Joyce Sullivan and Lisa Beta, go and look up what happened at the Pentagon today. I get so emotional on this. The massive glass ceiling for women has been lifted in the military. Yes. So if you've read Gail Lemon's book, Ashley's War, and I get so emotional about it because if you just read that book and you think about people who are the best and want to serve this country, and they have had a massive glass ceiling because they have not been allowed to be in combat roles. So, well timed today, AppNexus. Anyway, so sorry that I get
Total coincidence.
Yeah, no. Yeah, come on, admit you had the inside. And I get really emotional about it because I think, all of us want to succeed and we want to be our best and we want to reach the highest and to have structurally something put on us where we can't get ahead. But back to why I get about this with women is, you're fighting against a glass ceiling and maybe, everything else you've heard in terms of the way others look at us, but what are we doing to ourselves if we're not making investments in ourselves, and why if we're not looking after our own money? And as I say to people, the best investment you can make is yourself. And if you don't believe that and do that, like, what else is there? My life changed fundamentally when I took control of my finances. Mm-hmm. And I know when we talked about this panel and talking about what's, investing in women and the importance of that, if you haven't put your own financial house in order, you can't pursue the career you want to pursue. You can't pursue the dreams you want to pursue. And you can't get to a position where you can say, I can invest financially in others. So I don't care what point it is in someone's career, whether it's in, and we want to get into this in terms of talking about whether you're senior and you should be deferring salary, are you junior and you should be putting stuff in a 401k, are you paying off a student loan, are you paying off your credit card bills, like all those practical things. But if you're not making that investment and saying having money in the bank is the most important thing, I don't know, nothing else falls in place for me.
Well said, well said. So, Elisabeth, you happen to know quite a lot about what some of those really, really important and sensible things are. If you're someone who's trying to take control of your financial future, what are some of the smart things you can do?
Yeah, I do think there's some immutable, rules of the road, and and I agree completely with you. You'll sleep so much better if you're in control of your finances. And the other thing I'm going to say is really everybody in this room is pretty young, and I didn't have a pot to piss in until I was about 45. I really didn't. I was a sole support. I'm married to an actor. I had 2 kids in private school. I was well paid, but every paycheck went out the door, and I had to go spend my vacations at my parents' house at the beach, which, believe me, was hell on earth.
That is an investment.
That's an investment. And my poor husband was like, I really, really hate this. So just life is a journey. I mean, it's a journey. And I think in your 20s in particular, money's going to come, like your parents are going to take you out to a cirque or something maybe, or some boyfriend will take you there. And then you're not going to be able to pay your electric bill. It's going to be really uneven for such a long, long time. And but when you begin to get foundation, which I know all of you will. So first of all, pay off your credit card balance and do that every month. And I really believe in getting cashback cards, and there are 2 good ones in the market right now. One is the Capital One Quicksilver, which pays you 1.5% on everything you buy. This whole business of these things that rotate, like it's 2% for groceries one month and 2% for gas one month. I used to run a company called creditcards.com. All that stuff is such a scam. Just sit with Capital One Quicksilver, and if you're willing to like fudge the rules a little bit, they have something called the Spark Card. So if you tell them that you're a company, they'll give you 2% on everything that you do. So they will.
For companies, ladies.
So just pretend like you're a company. Take your dog's middle name and say I'm the Mojo Company. And
Is there a special if you're a friend of Elisabeth's? Can we?
No, I don't have that mojo anymore. I did when I was running credit cards. Save for retirement. The tax advantage of that is enormous, to the max. ASAP. And I can't tell you, a lot of young people just can't.
You're saying max out your 401k.
Max out the 401k, and a lot of young people can't do it. They have student loans, and I don't know what to say except the magic of compound interest is something that the engineers in the room will understand. A great equity play is your home, owning your home. It's a fantastic inflation hedge. It's forced savings. You have to pay the mortgage every month. There's a ton of leverage. It's social policy in America to help people own their home. So if the sooner you can get into this, and I know this is something where you said, I don't want to be tied down to no friggin' place, but the fact of the matter is 65% of Americans have a home, and it is by far the largest wealth generator of anything that happens in America.
Yeah. So hold a couple of these others.
Okay,
let's come back to these. Let's talk about investing, though. I mean, you talk about the smartest investment you can make is in your home.
Yeah.
Kelly, you've made a lot of investments. You're noted as an angel investor. And what do you look for in investments? Do you invest in female-led companies or women financial advisors? I mean, what's...
So my financial advisor is a woman, so there is part of that. I mean, and I was the one who, did all the max out in the 401k and all that kind of good stuff. I do not own a home. It's probably I'd be on a therapist's couch about that one if we got into it. But for me, I think the world has changed in terms of an idea of when we were going to retire, which is not to say don't save, but I look at it differently now. I'm going to retire at the same age as Warren Buffett, so I'm going to be working for a long time because I enjoy it. But for me, the reason for investing, and I invest in female-founded companies. I'm an LP in Laconia Capital Group, which is SaaS, enterprise, B2B, seed and Series A companies. But what's important to me is we now have a world where the language and the currency is technology. And if I want to see technology products and the world look through a perspective that is, no offense, my love, other than a white male, if I want to see something that is different than graduates out of Stanford or Harvard or MIT, I need to actively invest so that okay, how many women get in a car and wonder, when are they going to have a place for the goddamn handbag, right? Right? I do not want my technology products to be missing where the handbag goes, right? So I think if we want to have, so actively for me, that's where, in terms of investment, that's why it's important.
That's really interesting. And Elisabeth...
Other than the white male comment.
Yeah. Well, fellow Canadians, we have to stick together too. So, but Elisabeth, I have a question. You run TheStreet.com, one of the primary financial information and investing resources on the internet. You made the comment to me when we spoke previously that it's not used by a lot of women. Why? And what does that say about how women approach investing differently than men?
I think there are two really simple reasons. Men have way more money than women do, and you have to have a lot of money to responsibly invest in individual stocks. Back to what to invest in. If you have a 401k, you're going to have to invest it, and you probably should put it into some kind of index, S&P 500 index. So what women do, and this has been validated across a lot of stories for many, many years, they don't want to be talked to differently than men about their money. They don't want to be, that feels condescending to them, but they will do more research than men will do. And the reason that works out okay, so there's a lot of, I'm a big believer in financial literacy, a lot of financial literacy out there. Men need financial literacy too. So there's a cohort of men who will do the research as well. But women notably will do a lot more reading about whatever it is they need to find out about. Men are much more likely to just go in and say, you know, I need to go, you know, to the football game. Oops, I got to do my mortgage. Boom, I'm done. You know, one and done. So
Right,
that's
right.
it.
Okay. Kelly, close.
But that was, you know, when we were talking before on the phone, that's what I found with women who are angel investing. Like when I did the Pipeline Fellowship, my cohort asked a lot of questions, right? There wasn't like, who would use this? That was all the women founders in the room who pitched their products to a guy and had the, I'll talk to my wife who will use this. We were like, okay, explain this to me. I don't understand this product. Who is the market? So we do ask that question. So like, I'm like, there's 12,
Okay.
like 12 ways that we, you know, kind of go on this now. But you know,
Maybe men are overly confident. That could be the other part of it. Maybe we're doing the right stuff.
I think, you know, and I think this is where I want to go with this is that we need to realize, because you made the comment about men having the money, we assume as women we're not in the position of power, right? The fact is we are now in terms of how we choose to spend, whether it is personally or with a business, and what's going to happen in the next, I want to say, decade. So those of us over the age of 50, and I'll wave our hands, okay? Like, you know, the amount of wealth in this country that is going to be in the hands of these women because it's either being earned, inherited, or, you know, there's ex-husbands. And what that means is we need to get, and this gets to your part on financial literacy, we need to get smart about money, because if we're not making decisions about where it goes, when you have the majority of wealth in this country in the hands of people who aren't being smart about it, that's not just, you know, seeing products on the shelves we don't like. That's like, it's like an economic barrier to moving forward. So we need to get smart about it, and we also need to realize that we have the ability now to direct and decide where business flows and who succeeds. So if we're not supporting other women in doing that, then we should stop complaining.
Are you both going to stick around for the cocktail hour?
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it would be fantastic if we could continue the conversation, and if you've got advice for people about how to take control of investing in their financial future. I mean, we could go on for an hour here. So
we sure can.
We sure can, and we will. We will. So fantastic to have you both here on such a historic day, and thank you so much for being here, and thanks, everybody.